Talking in Isolation on the channel Moving On TV. I'll be your host for this segment. My name is Jay. In my segment, Talking in Isolation, it's all about talking to you guys. The people who, would usually be isolated and can't really have a conversation in these times. Now, I know many of you would want to hear about my stories, like many of the other people who write in their channel. They talk about things during their day, troubling times, all that. And honestly, some of them are really, all of them really, are really nice to listen to. So I'd recommend looking at some of the other videos connected to this channel. Everyone has a voice, and they deserve to say it. And that's what I wanted to do. But instead of talking about myself, which, let's be honest, everyone can do, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I felt sorry because I've had an opportunity to try and talk to people and stuff. But I don't think many of you have. There are many people in this world who wouldn't really have a choice or a chance, really. And honestly, some people are just too nervous to do so. So I thought with my channel, I want to do that. That's what my thing, Talking in Isolation, is all about. You guys send me questions on the email that should be attached, or, more likely, in the comment section below. And I'll try to answer as many as I can. Now, this is going to sound weird to some of you who may not have been on YouTube for too long, or, like me, were too pure to know about this. But please don't send me stupid or annoying questions that, kind of need a stupid answer. Because that's what you'll get. Like, one of my friends used to ask me, hey, can you tell me all the answers to a test? Or, hey, can you tell me all the answers to this homework assignment that we all have to do individually? And I'd be like, yeah, you see, the answer is you go home, you study, you do the work, and you hand it in. And they didn't really like that answer. Don't know why. I mean, it's the one I give to everyone. Because I'm not going to be doing your work for you. So if you have any school questions or stuff like that, be ready for an answer, because I don't know if you'll enjoy it or if it's just going to be silly. But hey, you're welcome to do anything. I mean, this channel's about you guys. Now, considering this is one of my first videos, let's be honest. I haven't got a question from anyone yet. And if I did, that would be very weird, considering nothing's going on. Luckily, I've had some of my friends and family and stuff like that, people like that, people like that give me some. So I have them right here, and I'll start answering them for you. By the way, if you can hear something in the background that sounds like a buzzsaw or something, hopefully it's a chainsaw. If it's a buzzsaw, God help us all. That's because some people are just doing some work, around the block and everything. This isn't exactly a professional setup since, I got this role and, auditioned and I wanted to do it. But, if I wanted to do YouTube for a full-time thing, it's going to take a lot of time to be able to do that. Anyway, let's start. The first question is a pretty basic one, and one I think most people would ask, like, who am I? Well, my name is Jay. I'm an Australian, if you couldn't tell by my accent, because many people actually don't know. Some people say I sound like an American, or some people say I sound like an Irishman. And one guy once asked if I'm a German, which I just answered 9. But yeah, I live in Australia, Sydney to be precise, New South Wales, and I've lived here all my life. Born, raised, and I've been happy. And, I just love living here. I can't say there's anything really special about me. I'm 22. I don't think there's anything wrong with saying that. And, yeah, really, I mean, is there anything else I need to say? Maybe there's a question below that will tell me. Here's one. My career choice. Well, funny enough, I'm an actor. And as a lot of you might know, that's not exactly a flourishing business to get into. At least, easily. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love acting, and I love auditioning for things. It's because of acting I found this, actually. And, I couldn't be more happier. And while there are a few roles I'll get, the occasional helping at school projects, or, doing little shows, it's harder to get into the high maintenance stuff, movies and screens, all that. And for anyone trying to aspire to be an actor, don't give up. That's what I have to say. Things are going to get hard for you. For me, I had to go to school and everything. I went to a college, university and everything for acting, and it was hard. And sometimes I wondered if it was worth it. But you have to remember, if you want to achieve your dream, like I want to, there aren't any shortcuts. You have to go full force. Some people will tell you, well, this guy got into acting, or this guy got into a job because of connection and stuff. That's the thing. Connections won't get you a job if you don't have the skill to back it up. As an actor, I constantly train and look for roles. I worked on my skill for years. And I'm happy to say I've gone to a point where I feel confident in my skill to be able to go out and audition and everything. And it's going to be hard for anyone if you're just starting out or you've been doing it for a few years. The key thing is you have to stay on it. And who knows? You might find something you love doing more than acting. I mean, I also work as a bartender during the nights, and I love it. I love going to a bar, meeting people, certain people. Not everyone's, a golden goose, but I just love it. I've been bartending for maybe 2 to 3 years now, and, I don't look to stop. Even if I become a famous actor, I still most likely will want to bartend because I get to meet people and everything like that. I mean, during COVID, lots of my work stopped. No one was giving out acting roles because, let's be honest, we couldn't go anywhere. We couldn't go to auditions and we couldn't go to sets. All because, thanks to COVID, everything was shut down. And concerning bars, they were some of the first things to be shut down. I remember getting ready for the next day one night after I came back from work, getting all my clothes ironed, making sure I had all the stuff ready for my shift, and I get a message saying you're not going to be able to come in because all pubs are being shut down. I mean, on the news, if you weren't in Australia, you might not know this, but on the news, as soon as COVID came out, and as soon as the head said, but pubs and bars and all that were shut, not 5 minutes later, I get a call saying, hey, you don't need to come in tomorrow. And it's been like that for 2 months, and it was hard. I was like, how am I going to make money? How am I going to, fend for myself? My parents, even my sister still had jobs. My parents are both teachers. And they were able to go in because, teaching is really important. My sister had an internship, and her internship allowed her to work online, so she wouldn't miss anything. For me, I was stuck. I couldn't do anything, and I felt lost. But I didn't give up. And that's how I found this. A kind woman that, is the head of this channel, she gave me the opportunity to do this. And although it may be hard and difficult, since I'm not used to doing something like this, I'm going to give it my all. And I want it to be perfect because she gave me an opportunity that not many people could. Because most of the work, most of the acting work and stuff like that, it's just free things to try and get your name out there. And while I might not get paid, the fact that I can connect to people, that's what I want to do. That's an important thing. If you got into acting for money, you're not going to enjoy your profession. I've met many people, including at my own uni in college, that told me, hey, I became an actor because I want easy money and, I just want to get paid. And I'm like, that's not what acting is about. You don't do a job for money or for pay. You do it because you enjoy it. But, hey, that's enough about me and my career choice. Let's be honest, I might have droned on a bit. But, just the final thing, if you have a dream, don't stop pursuing it. Just find a way to make it work. And you only lose a dream once you give up on it. So, hey, don't give up. And I'm sure you've heard of many videos where people say this, so, if you don't take my word for it, there are many others you can look at. Schooling. It's funny enough, a lot of people thought since I'm an actor, I dropped out of school. I didn't study as soon as I finished year 12, went straight to trying to get roles and everything. And there are people who do that. And there's nothing against them. I mean, if they think they can go out, get a role, start a career like that, good on them. Me, it was different. I still went looking for roles and stuff, jobs and stuff like that. and while I was in school. But I never quit. I always thought the important thing is, if I get a good education, if this doesn't work out, I have other opportunities. In school, I went all the way from kindergarten all the way up to year 12. And then I spent a few years at my drama school. It's called AFTT, the Academy of Film, Theatre and Television. Look them up if you're in Australia. They have a really good program. But I spent my entire life trying to become an actor. Well, the first thing that spurred me on was when I watched the original Harry Potter, Philosopher's Stone. I was like, I want to do that. I want to be a wizard. And, sometime later I found out about acting. And I was like, so I can act like them. I want to do that. And I've never given up. So yeah, I finished school. I went to college or university, depending on where you're from, and I studied the hell out of everything. Drama schools isn't just practical stuff. There's a lot of theory behind it. Learning about agencies, learning about different techniques, learning how to sing, dance, follow movement. Singing wasn't my strong point, I'm not going to lie to you. But, I managed to pass the class, so it would have been adequate. Sorry, blunder there. Adequate, at best. But hey, if you want to be an actor, you don't have to try and just be good at one thing. It's important to have multiple roles. I met people at my drama school that were amazing at guitar, piano, amazing singers, amazing dancers. The thing that's made me stood out was I was actually a martial artist when I was younger. So thanks to that, I got some parts where it was all about, fighting, movement. We even had a class we had to learn to stand on someone's back because we had to try and learn balance and everything. Now, while that looks, easy, it was hard when they were standing straight up and you had to try and stay on their back. They try to teach you many different things that many people thought, isn't useful. But once you're on set and they ask you to do certain movements, it can pay off. So, yeah, I finished schooling and I don't regret it at all. Many people have asked me, should I have quit to try and get acting jobs sooner? And I may have been getting much more acting jobs if I had not spent all those years at school. But I don't regret it because I'm who I am because of them. And I have skills that I know I wouldn't have had if I didn't go. So everything's important. And I'm happy to do that. Let's see, free time. To be honest, I don't really have, that much outside of what a normal person does. I read books, I play video games. In isolation, I really got into puzzles, so I bought 1,000 jigsaw piece puzzles and, started putting them together. I used to play with Lego. I've been writing scripts that they taught me to do from school to help me keep my skills up. Yeah, if I'm honest, there's nothing really out of the ordinary with my free time. Well, to be honest, I was mostly inside, especially in isolation. In my own time, I play video games, read books and stuff, and the reason I'm not saying, hang out with friends is, well, we weren't allowed to leave our houses. I could talk to them online, and I talk to many of my acting buddies from school sometimes. We message each other. But to actually meet people, we weren't able to do that. So, other than, talking on video games or online, we were isolated, so most of my free time was just spent reading, puzzling, and playing video games. Speaking of which, some people ask me if I would ever want to do a gaming channel, because that's actually one of the things they talk to us about in school. As actors, thanks to YouTube, we can put on skits and stuff online, and while I don't ever really have a big enough crew, I do try sometimes. But, nothing's really gone very big yet. But with this channel, I'm hoping I can at least talk to some people and try, get some people's worries out. And if I'm honest, I would love to do a gaming channel. Who knows, if this series gets well and people may ask for it, I might be permitted to make a gaming channel. I get some people up on Discord, we talk, we play a few games, put online and make everyone happy. It might be nice, we start an entire community like that. Just people who can't go out playing video games together. Like, all those YouTubers, Dahi Denogla, Minilad, basically I Do Work, Vanos Gaming, The Gaming Terrorizer, have to get Brian out there, Big Jiggly Panda, all of them. I'm Wildcat, all of them. Don't want anyone getting mad I didn't mention them if this video goes big. I doubt it, but, you know, always good to listen to people. What I want to do, well, with this show. Well, I've already stated it, but I want to connect to people. All you guys out there have a chance to try and talk, and, you know, you all have your own stories. And the fact that I have a chance doesn't make me feel, you know, that it's fair to many of you who don't have a chance. So, I want to connect to people. I want you guys to tell your stories. There are all those channels to talk, you know, animate my life or true story and stuff like that. And to be honest, I want to do that for you guys. Not animate or anything, I don't have much skill in that. But I want to be able to talk, you know. Write down, send in some stories you want me to read, you know. Talk. Because that's what I want to do with my segment. I'd be happy putting my entire segments just to talking about other people and giving my comment. So, you know, be free to say whatever you want. And if you guys want to send in some stupid stories you'd rather hear me read, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. As long as you're happy with me, you know, saying this guy wrote this, and you'd be happy with people guessing who that is. Just please don't make it like rude with swearing or anything, and please don't try to make it a story that could just put someone in a bad light, unless you leave them unnamed, because I really don't want someone, you know, getting mad at that. Because it's one thing to write a story to entertain or talk to people. It's another thing just trying to sell someone out. You should never try to do that because, well, revenge is an ugly word. And any way you say it, it just sounds ugly. Revenge. Sounds like you're trying to bite down on something. And no one deserves that. I used to be bullied when I was in school for being a left-sider. That's what some people call people that use the left side of their brain, the creative one. I've always been a left-brainer, you know, more creative than smart. But many people were bullying me because of my eccentric things. I enjoyed, you know, acting. I always loved fantasy and books and stuff. And people were like, you know, they bullied me for it. Some people even bullied me for being skinny because I know there's a lot of fat shaming in the world and I hate that so much. But people do attack me, calling me bones and stuff because I was so skinny. And other times I was called psycho because, well, people thought I was a sociopath. The way I looked, the way I talked, the way I act. People thought, you know, hey, he's crazy, he's a sociopath, don't be near him. But that's just bullying. Because people can't feel good about themselves unless there's someone worse off than they are. And the only way to stop it is to break this cycle. To stop people thinking you need to put others down to make yourself feel better. So, don't do that. Oh, this is a good question. Many people actually asked me, most of my friends, what do I eat in isolation? Since people thought I'd, you know, actually get a lot bigger because I couldn't go out, and I always loved making fresh food and stuff. And with how most Woolworths were sold out and everything, of many, many things, they would ask what would I do? To be honest, I know a lot of people like getting fast food, and I love the occasional fast food, you know, sometimes. But I've always enjoyed eating fresh food. You know, getting some meat from the butcher, cutting it up, grilling it, you know, making some nice veggies, making a good mashed potato. But the ironic thing is, during isolation, I got really creative. I got my own recipe. I call it the crumb, well, it's pretty much just crumb riblets. I get riblets, which are offcuts of, you know, pork and all that, with only the fat and a little bit of meat. I cover an egg, roll it in breadcrumbs and flours. I put it in oil, hook it, drain the oil, obviously. Too much oil is bad for you. And I cover it in some gravy, some sauce and stuff, and I eat it like that. Many people ask how I can eat something that's so chewy, you know, since it has got fat on it, but I enjoy it. Sometimes I'll make a nice steak and I'll put some rice with it. I'll do the same with pork and stuff, and honestly, it tastes really good, to me at least. So, yeah, isolation was the perfect time to try some new foods and stuff. My sister, she created these things called zucchini fritters, which are actually pretty tasty. It's like zucchini with some other stuff, flattened, mulched into a nice little disc. My mum would make blueberry muffins, and my god, they were delicious. I never really ate blueberries before, but considering I was stuck at home, I was like, I need to try and do stuff. So I thought, why not? And I got mad at myself because I spent a good over 20 years without ever having a blueberry muffin, and my god, they're good. All you in there who love blueberry muffins, you know where I'm coming from. All those who don't, I'm sure you found something more delicious then. So, yeah. Okay, what's some other questions? Oh, this is a good one. Hanging with friends. Many people asked how in isolation I would hang out with people. And I've noticed, and I've talked to people before about how I would talk to people online and stuff. But some of my friends actually asked, well, not my friends, my family really, asked when isolation is lifted, how will that go? Will everyone just rush like in a full march? Well, by the time this video comes out, you might know that some things have been lifted, like many of the restrictions have been cut. For example, I can go to I can have like 1 or 2 friends over. And as soon as that was open, I have a buddy of mine who invited me over for movie nights like every Friday, once a week. Him and another friend of mine would go over, we'd have popcorn, we'd play cards, video games, we'd watch we watched all the Avengers movies all over again, just to try and catch up and everything. We even once actually accidentally stayed over at his house because we were all playing cards one night and we all fell asleep. And the funny thing is, I found my friend, and he was like out of the world. And we were just having too much fun to notice the time going. When we woke up, I had a card stuck on my cheek, and my friend, the deck was on the ground. The paper clips we were using as betting just for fun, they were everywhere. I was worried they would be showing up in places we didn't want to get them from. But yeah, some of my old friends it was awesome. Isolation does the weirdest thing. We think, it'll never open. And once it's released, we flock together like a herd. It's ironic how tragedy and bad things like that can bring people together. And it's true that I'm upset that it only took a tragedy to do that. Humans should do that by nature. We should all be together, happy, free, together. Just by nature, not because of tragedy. But I can't change the world. I mean, who can? The president, someone at the top, a genius. I mean, Elon Musk is trying to make something to go into space, and my god, he's done an amazing job, and, thank god there's someone like him doing this stuff, electric cars and all that. But me, I don't think I can change the world. If I can through my movies, if I get them, I'd be more than happy. But just because I most likely can't, doesn't mean I'm not going to try. I'll try my best to make some small thing, something that can help. And that's what I want to do here. That's why I'm doing this channel. I'm trying to let people know that there's someone that listens, someone that can talk, someone who they can talk through in a way. Because some people might not be, too happy with, a guy just talking about random stuff or just talking about him or anything like that. And I'm like, I want to hear from you guys. I want you guys to know there's someone you can talk to or someone you can ask about anything in your life. So, send a question, send a quote, ask something, say something. It's your choice, and no one should take that away from you. Oh, here's a really good one. I don't know if this will come out by the time this video is, but a lot of pubs are allowed to reopen, with restrictions, of course. I can't tell you how happy I was. I was sitting at home, eating something, watching the news, and when that came open, I was ecstatic for the first few days until I realized what that meant. You see, my pub called me up and were like, we're going to have to do a full clean, and my god, that was work. I worked harder than any night I would work on the bar. Because we were getting stock in, we were getting all this done. And here's the thing. I'm happy that pub's open, but they could have given us a little bit more, warning. We were all rushing, trying to get stuff in, trying to clean everything. And to be honest, my pub was high. Like, my pub is really good, and I enjoy working there and eating there. And I have to say, I love my pub. And I'm not just saying that because I work there. Like, I could work and not like it. Many people work and not like it, but I actually enjoy my pub because they choose to try and take care of people. But it's just sad because after 2 months of no one being in there, yeah, it took a while to get everything up to a point where we were all happy with. Because one of the things that really attacked us with the pub is lots of places weren't open to sell us stuff. We couldn't get lots of beer until the last minute. Like, I was allowed to go in back a few Mondays ago. I think it was last Monday. I don't know by the time this video comes out, but last Monday, or 2 Mondays, 3, I don't know when this video comes out once again. By the Mondays ago, I was allowed to come in. But the Sunday, before the Monday when I was in, we had no beer, no nothing. We had alcohol, plenty of alcohol and soft drinks. But the main thing, kegs of beer, we were low on, out completely, because we couldn't keep it fresh for 2 months. Beer has an expiry date, as hard as it is to believe. And that expiry date, after it doesn't go off, but it doesn't taste as good. Because people have told me beer doesn't go off, and I'm like, but it has a date when it's best to be drunk before. You know, it's like how if you open a bottle of Coke, that first drink you take, if you close it up, put it in the fridge, take it out the next day, it's not going to have that same fizz, that same texture. Luckily for us, on the Monday, we got a good amount of kegs in. But many beer factories, I'm not going to say their name, because they have their own things to worry about, and I don't want to do anything to get them in trouble or get myself in trouble or this channel. But many beer places couldn't do it because they have to go through a deep clean because of COVID. It's just sad, really, if you think about it. COVID's done so much bad stuff to us, to normal working people. I've met people who are worried that they can't make rent because of it. One of my friends in the bar, luckily, she works also as a hairdresser as well during the days and a bar in the night. So she made money that could help her with rent and everything. But I've met others in the pub that as soon as it opened, I got to talk to them. They were worried sick because they couldn't afford rent. And even with JobKeeper, there was some time before that JobKeeper wasn't around. For those of you who don't know, JobKeeper was something that the government did just to help us get some money to help us. If you had a job, you got a little bit of money just to help you pull over until jobs opened up. And ironically, JobKeeper could be taxed, so that helped the government a bit to make more money for JobKeeper. But even now, there are regulations we all have to follow, rules to help us stomp out COVID. And while many people don't like it, I understand where they're coming from. One thing is, in a certain area, you have to have like the 1.5 meter rule or a 4 meter square around a person. That rule is you can't have another person within that space, and every table has to be a certain distance away from each other. This is so if someone does get it, the chances of them infecting others is drastically lowered. Now, I want to hope that COVID's stomped out in the world. It's not going to for a long time, but my hope is that we can just get rid of it. And, well, as I said, it's not going to be a straightaway answer, but it's what I hope. So, I'm sure many places have rules, but for ours, 1.5 meter rule, you can only have around maybe certain amount of people in a certain area, depending on space, you have a big space, if you've got a massive space, like, a dining hall or something, that could be maybe 250, 200 people, but in a small pub, you might have maybe 50 people in a room, or even go as low as to 19 in a certain area. Gaming rooms, they were hit the hardest. Like, I know some gaming rooms, they say they're making it permanent now that you have to have a 1.5 meter distance between a gaming machine, as well as shields and everything. And I can understand that because people spend hours and hours a day on gaming machines. And while many people complain, you have to understand that we don't want this to last any longer. And that's the main thing. If this were to last on for a long time, we'd lose more money than in the short run. Sure, people are saying you've lost thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars, but you have to remember, it could be worse. And it can get worse. And it's up to us. I think I've drawn on long enough, and by this point, a few of you would be just like, shut up already, we've heard your story, blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to end with this. We're all in this together, and my channel is all about hearing from you guys. So if you don't want me to drone on, send in some questions so we can talk about that. If it goes well, I might be able to get some people in a Discord and we can record a conversation if you want to, and if it's allowed. If it gets even better, we could maybe play some games, stuff like that. I want to do something where we can all talk together and all connect. So please, comment down below on anything you want to hear, anything you want to talk about, and I'd be happy to do that with you. Once again, my name is Jay. This is called Talking in Isolation, and welcome to the channel, Moving On TV.